Okay, I want to transition to the NBA. The Lakers and the Houston Rockets took place last night at Staples Center on Halloween night, and it was funny to see all the photos of the Lakers players dressing up in different outfits on Saturday night. Some of them actually went all out. They went all out. There were some pretty good costumes, actually. So make sure to check out some of those photos. It was actually very, very well done. And so the Lakers and the Rockets, listen, it is the lowly Rockets, but the Lakers did beat them 95-85. And this game should have been a blowout. They should have won by 25 points, which was the margin of a lead that they had pretty much throughout the entirety of the game. So I get it. It's the lowly Rockets. They should have blown it out. But defensively, this was the best performance that I've seen from the Lakers all year. Because I don't really care who the opponent is. If you hold a team nowadays to under 100, let alone, I should say under 90, let alone under 100, you're kind of entering rarefied air because you just don't see that anymore, given the prolific offenses that exist in the NBA. For the Lakers to be able to win a game scoring under 100 points, they were one of the worst defensive teams entering this game. And they put on the clamps and held the Houston Rockets to 85 points. They held them to under 60 points heading into the fourth quarter, which is extremely impressive. So for me, here are the positives. If you're the Lakers, now you know we can defend. We can have these types of defenses performances where we clamp down. The Lakers had 9 blocks. Hell, Carmelo Anthony had 4 blocks defensively. They contained Jalen Green. They contained Christian Wood. They were actually swarming defensively. And again, when you have an older team like this, as I've said before, you can't expect them to exert this much effort every single time. And obviously, when you face some better teams that feature some better offensive players, maybe it's a little bit more of a struggle. But the reality is, this was a really good defensive performance. The Lakers, it's not just like the Houston Rockets were missing shots that were wide open. We saw that was the case in the season opener against the Golden State Warriors, where the Warriors just missed a bunch of shots. That wasn't the case. The Lakers defense, they were inducing those mistakes. They were creating those turnovers. So defensively, it was the best defensive performance that I've seen from them all year. And that's a really encouraging sign because we weren't, quite frankly, sure if they could kind of get in the chair and move their feet quick enough. So defensively, I was extremely impressed, given the fact, too, that as an offensive team, they only shot 29.5% from three. So they didn't need to rely on the three-point shot to create that separation, to create that gap. They were able to utilize their defense and emerge and depart with a victory. That was impressive. That was impressive to me. The second thing is LeBron, as we've continued to talk about all year so far, looks like he still has his athleticism back. He had the reverse jam, which generated some oohs and ahs from the crowd, of course. And it's just great to see LeBron. Again, he's not perfectly healthy. Obviously, he had missed the last couple games with an ankle injury. He returned on Friday night to face the Cavs at home. And so there were always just some little question marks about his athleticism. And then after injuries and after little setbacks, could he still possess it? Could he still maintain it? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. He still has his athleticism. And the guy is still just, he's just a pickup truck. I mean, the guy is just stable as a rock, strong, bulldozes over defenders. He's still the best driver to the basketball, to the rim that we've ever seen. And it's been impressive just to watch, again, how impactful he can still be at this age from an athletic standpoint. And then Carmelo Anthony, speaking of impact players, has just been a consistent impact player off the bench for the Lakers. He's been a huge, huge addition. Again, led the Lakers in scoring last night, 23 points. It's the third time this year that he has scored over 20 points, back-to-back performances of over 20 points for the Lakers. The second time he's led the team in scoring. He scored in double figures 5 of the 7 games. He's been averaging 13 points for the Lakers. And with the exception of one garbage game against the San Antonio Spurs where he was just missing everything, he's been one of the best players for the Lakers, which is kind of hard to fathom. Carmelo Anthony at age 37 with LeBron, I think. I think they're the same age, 37. So he's been extremely impressive. And listen, fortunately for the Lakers, they've gotten a break with the scheduling right now. They got an early break with the scheduling. They're getting a chance to face all these bottom feeders in the NBA. They're getting a chance to develop their continuity, to grow their confidence in one another, establish some early wins. Again, just to add a little levity to that locker room. And it's important for them to see some W's in the win column. They're 4-3 now. So I just think, especially after some of their previous performances where they just been blowing big leads, because that was really the biggest impediment for this team was they just kept blowing big leads. To the Thunder, they blew a 26-point lead. And they had a big lead last night against the Rockets. Unfortunately, they just held on and beat them. But the Rockets trimmed the lead to 10 at one point. So the Lakers have to clean that up, no doubt. They got to clean up the turnovers. Westbrook was a little bit more efficient in his shots, only 2 turnovers last night. Again, the chemistry between him and LeBron is going to be the most important thing for this team. But I just thought for me, it just comes down to effort. And when you have an older team like the Lakers, are they going to exert that much effort every single night? I just don't know. It was there last night, and it was impressive given the fact, again, 85 points. Just to put into perspective, that was the lowest output that the Rockets have had all year, not just in the regular season, even in the preseason. They had never been held to 85 points. In the preseason, they don't even really play defense. So I thought that this was a really encouraging sign, again, how active they were to hold them to 85. Again, I understand it's just the Rockets. They're probably one of the worst teams in the NBA. Still, 85 points, that's impressive. That's commendable. Definitely commendable.